Doug Atkinson, and we are here at Commvault GO 2017 down at National Harbor in Washington, D.C. And it's a customer conference, and lo and behold, I'm here with a customer, which is always nice. It's Branndon Kelley from American Municipal Power in Columbus, Ohio. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you.
So, you've come to this event, which is going on behind us, and you've had pretty much 2 days now to kind of mosey around and see what's going on. How long have you been a Commvault customer, first off, and how did you come to become one?
Yeah, so we've been a Commvault customer since 2011, and kind of ironic, literally like this week, 2011 was our go live, and we became a customer because I joined the organization in 2009 and was really tasked with leading a transformation. And the first part of my kind of the vision I laid out was what we call secure the foundation. And so one of the things that came very apparent was we didn't have necessarily an overall data strategy, and specifically in that a data protection strategy. We were doing backups and we were protecting data, but it wasn't any kind of wrapper around it. There was no strategic or executive vision to be able to say with any given day everything was protected. So we did a pretty intensive RFP, a search. We used partners like Gartner to help us kind of walk through who the players were out there. We created an RFP. Ultimately, obviously, I guess I should say, Commvault won that, and we began implementation of that. Over the summer of 2011, as I mentioned, we went live in just about this time, 2011.
And so that was pretty much a point security solution that you brought in?
The vision there was single pane of glass. And so I've spoke about this before. Actually, at Commvault GO last year, I spoke, and the vision that I wanted to accomplish was we have a lot of systems like all kinds of organizations do, but we also then have systems that are in buckets. We have systems that are considered critical systems or plant systems that don't touch the normal IT network. We have IT systems. We have systems out in the field, and all those are being backed up, as I kind of mentioned, in a variety of different ways, but I wanted one system that could touch all flavors, whether it was Linux, all applications, whether it was Oracle, Microsoft, across the enterprise, and give me one executive dashboard that I could go with confidence to our CEO and our executive management team, as well as our board of trustees, and say, we're good. And in the event of a disaster or self-inflicted, we can recover. And so that was really the vision, and what happened with that vision is very quickly, Commvault proved to us that it wasn't all just talk. They actually, not long after Go Live 6 years ago, the proof was in the pudding and allowed us to recover. But to probably the core of your question, initially our focus was primarily data protection, the ability to recover, the integrity of our data, and things of that nature.
And so as you've started to think about, after solving the immediate concern, starting to look down the road a little ways, and maybe thinking a little even above kind of just the Commvault implementation and thinking broader, how are you thinking about the data center strategically, about the other types of initiatives you're looking at?
Yeah, so my role is pretty unique. I'm not really your traditional CIO, so I have responsibilities like probably anyone that you talk to with making sure our systems are up and running, secure, available, and then at the same time using that downward pressure to make sure we're doing it as most effectively, efficiently, cost conscious as we possibly can. But then also our organization, we service municipal electric systems in 9 states. About 135 members, makes up about 145 individual electric utilities. And so in the last few years, my role has kind of really evolved where now I'm building solutions that help these individual municipal systems, electric systems. And that has, and I can just tell you, just to not beat around the bush, one of those is we're doing advanced metering infrastructure. So you think maybe where you live, you have a very large IOU that is putting out smart meters, and they're doing this thing. They might be calling it smart grid. They might be calling it smart city. It's got a bunch of different names. But your smaller towns that own and operate their own electric systems, tactically they're not even, strategically they can't get their arms around what it is. Tactically they don't have the ability to run the IT infrastructure necessarily to do it. So we'll build a solution to do that for them. Now
it's got to be creating a massive amount of additional data.
And that's kind of what I was going to kind of allude to here. So it's creating tons of data. And today we're collecting that data and we're doing base analytics. We can do reports and alerting. And really the future of that data is predictive analytics and things and information that we can give back to these, we call them members because we're member organizations, but ultimately back to our members who then can use that data to benefit their customers to provide more reliability, lower costs, hopefully, things of that nature. So the real challenges that I have is, we're going to collect all this data. You need trending data. How are you going to manage this data? How are you going to make this data available? And things of that nature.
Well, and use it, right? That's phase 2, right? You get your hands on it. You get control of it. You protect it. Obviously that's priority 1. But then really the secondary stage is to figure out how to utilize it to benefit customers, to benefit AMP, to...
Yeah. So I think about it like you asked, one of the things that you mentioned was like, what are you thinking about the data center? I actually want to stop thinking about the data center because, we have smart people that work for me that manage the data center and our systems and our servers, and that stuff's going to stay around because not everything we do is cloud eligible because, we have a whole set of critical systems that just cannot touch, public cloud or public internet.
Yeah.
But to sit around and think about even some of the cool stuff you can do in the data center, it's not as strategic as I think what you're getting about is I got this data, I got the data protected, it's in a store, it's there. How do I take that data and turn it into actionable information? How do I take that data
That's right.
and make it valuable to our organization? That's my challenge. That's the challenge that I get from our board, our CEO. That's what I have to do. And that's what's going to be really fun. And so that's what my role and my immediate direct reports should be really focused on. Not necessarily, we got folks that are going to worry about day-to-day operations of the data center, things like that, but that's CIO 2.0 or whatever you want to call it.
So is it a similar kind of buying cycle as I were to think about it? Are you going to do another RFP for a big BI data analytics package, or are you thinking of more incremental steps?
Yeah, we're doing some pilot stuff now with a partner company that we own who has, and I don't really want to probably mention the name because I don't want to give them any kind of endorsement because we don't have a large-scale deployment yet and it hasn't necessarily proven out to us. But absolutely, I think when we get to the point, so we're doing some base analytics with our partner in our AMI program. So we chose a partner called AlexSolve. Many people, almost no one would probably know them. They're a niche player in the municipal electric system market. They are rated by Gartner when you look at operational data management systems, and they are in that box called niche player. We're getting great stuff from them. So they do base analytics. They can predict theft, or not predict theft, but alert on theft, and they can watch trends and kind of get you information. But that's kind of like phase 1. Phase 2 is when we get to that point where, based on the operational data that we have, we can predict when a failure happens. And so you're absolutely right. We're talking to a number of different providers that provide that information or provide those services. And when we get time to spend real money, what I'll call it, we'll go through the same vetting process. We'll use Gartner and the same kind of third-party people to help us make that decision.
Well, that was my next question is, again, getting way above the trees at this point and thinking about how a customer becomes a customer, how they think about buying things. What kind of process are you going through? You mentioned Gartner as a source that you use. I mean, is that kind of the stages you kind of use analysts to help you kind of narrow it down, and then you move down to interviewing some of those folks and maybe doing pilots and so forth? Yeah,
we definitely, I don't want to overly emphasize Gartner like, they're the begin all end all for us, but we definitely use Gartner to allow us to identify who the players are in that space.
Sure.
And then we do analyst calls, and we get value out of those, obviously, because if we didn't, we wouldn't continue to do them. But once we do some identification and some, first kind of pass, one of the things I like to do, and if you think about Commvault, and you just use that as a example of how we make decisions is I try to find people who have who have like problems, deploy like technologies,
Sure.
and really, hopefully get in front of their CIO, who then can get me and my team in touch with the folks within their organization. So really the next step, and that's kind of where we're at now. I mentioned that we are a part owner and a partner company, and they're doing some stuff with a vendor, and they said, hey, you got some data for us to start doing some stuff with, and literally just had a call about it this morning, where it's not only just this AMI read data, but flying drones across, really cool stuff, right?
Yeah.
The geek, and you flying drones across power lines and being able to detect, with an infrared camera,
that's
heat
cool.
and stuff that's broke or not necessarily tightened so well. But yeah, I think it's a combination of what's in the marketplace and identifying market leaders, analyst advice, people out in the space that's actually proven and been successful.
Well, so to bring it back full circle, is that how you ended up picking Commvault way back when?
That's
it was
absolutely.
Because they had some
Absolutely.
real world experience in the power sector?
Well, it doesn't always necessarily be, and I cannot remember because it's been, probably close to 8 years since we started talking to Commvault. I don't remember exactly if they had a utility customer that we talked to. Likely they did, but I wouldn't want to say something that's not true. But they had two things. They had success stories with people that had like problems, which is a bunch of stuff. We don't know if it's protected or not. We have no way to really look into it. I can't look down at my organization and say we're good. And they had customers that I could go touch and feel within Columbus that had very successful implementations. And they had, so they obviously gave me that data. And then through my own network, I was able to find customers on my own that I could go and talk to. So that's exactly how that decision was made. And then we looked at it like you look at any decision: cost, fullness of the solution, complexity of the solution, support, all those factors, availability of the partner, and that's and then it's just not me. I don't sit around and just make decisions. I'm responsible for those decisions. It's bringing the whole team in of people that work for me, and even people that's outside in our business, especially in this analytics stuff I talked about. On the call today, I was the IT representative, but we had people in our member services, engineering. It's a lot of folks that are going to be involved in that, because ultimately what we're doing is providing them actionable information to make decisions and to be more effective. So they have to have input.
Well, I'll tell you, you'll have a lot of fun looking at analytics companies. We cover a lot of them at Solutions Review, and it's amazing. Similarly to what's happening in storage and data, what's happening in analytics, it's really amazing what you can get out of data once you have a handle on it and have a real management for it. So good luck with that.
Thank you.
And thanks for spending some time with us, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Great.